Very good. So, welcome to Values plus AI equals Impact. We all know each other now, so that's good. And today is February 12th, 2025. It is the 1400 CET Berlin session. And what we do in these sessions is, first of all, give everybody a chance to say who they are, where they're coming from, what they do, and what their interest is with values and AI and how that works. And once everyone's had a chance to say something about who they are, then we see what it is that you're looking for. And I have a chance then possibly to just introduce a tool and we can walk through it together and then discuss what kind of things we can be doing with AI to make a bigger impact in what we're doing in our life and our business. So I will let Payal start because she and I just had a long talk and she's warmed up. So we'll have ladies first today.
Yeah, thank you, Rhonda. So I'm coming from Mumbai, India, and I have basically done a lot of grassroots work here. I've worked on climate change, waste management, education in the Himalayas, as an educator, as a fellow, as a field reporter with different and I basically am very being an educator. I love bringing technology into my classrooms. I love making it as interactive as possible. I used to teach the low income communities through Teach for India's fellowship, which is the part of the global Teach for All network. And yeah, so that is why I'm here, because I feel like my values drive me as a person. And this caught my eye because AI plus values is equal to impact, and that's what I'm here for. Because how do I expand my impact with technology, with the latest happenings around here? So that's why. So yeah, excited to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we just lost Elijah somehow, but then we'll just continue in India. Go ahead, Vinod.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So, Payal, Charles, I too am speaking from India, and I live in the northern part of the country, very close to the Himalayan mountains. Payal, in a place called as Dehradun. So,
Oh, okay.
and Rhonda and I have now known each other for maybe a million years. We interacted on an earlier platform, which she isn't part of, and even I am not frequenting it too often. So when I saw an email from her about this event, I thought it's a good chance to reconnect with her, besides learning about values in AI. So I'm an executive coach and I practice, uh, uh, or rather, I teach about values. Sometimes there is now, with AI coming in, there are various ways in which we are kind of using AI in our coaching. And so I'll be looking forward to this discussion as to what comes out of it. And of course, I would be participating as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Just got a mention from Elijah that he's got a problem with his internet, but he'll be back as soon as he can. Okay, so we will wait for Elijah to come back and introduce himself. But Charles, these are two new folks for you, so why don't you introduce yourself again?
Lovely to meet you both, Payal and Vinod. I'm Charles Fowler. I'm based in London, and I'm the lead coordinator of something called World Values Day, and this series of events, series of sessions that Rhonda's been running, germinated. I don't think you've done any before. This particular.
No. This is our baby, Charles.
World Values Day last year, and she did this wonderful series of sessions, values plus AI equals impact, and they were great, and people were fascinated, and no one. I think probably they were a little bit underattended, if I can say that way, because no one quite knew what to make of them. I mean, people came along, and it was the sessions were all excellent. So I thought, Rhonda and I thought, how wonderful if we could sort of build momentum and, have an exploration of how AI could be, positively have a positive impact on our individual values, organizational values, on whatever you like, really. So that was how it started, and so I've just been coming along for the ride really, and learning alongside everyone else from a quite low base in my case, how AI can maybe help World Values Day, other things I'm involved with, which mostly have these days a values basis, and and the answer is yes, they can, but clearly I haven't, and we haven't generally yet managed to grasp what they can do, because it keeps on changing, doesn't it? Every day practically something new appears. So I'm just really trying to glean what I can to see how I can use it.
Great. Well, thank you. We'll just keep going. Elijah, I'm sure we'll get back as soon as his internet says it's okay for him to come and join us again. And everybody in the room knows me, so we'll forego that. The important thing for you to know, just because you and I are sort of been out of touch, we notice I've been getting into AI not as an expert, because I'm certainly not a techie person, but I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. And I attended the United Nations Summit AI for Good last year, and I'm attending again this year. And I'm just fascinated. I think this is one of the best times in our world for us to be alive, because there are so many wonderful things going on. But I've seen this gap between people who are on one side of the thing and saying, oh, they're afraid and they don't know what it is, and there is all the terrible stuff going on in the media. On the other side, we have all the people who are really into this, and all the techies and all the hype. And there's no place for people like us in the middle. And I want this to be the place in the middle where we can come together, where we can ask questions, where if I can demonstrate some things and show how they work and what's going on with them, and just make sure that this is a platform where we're not only talking about the tech side of things, but the human side of things, and making sure that everybody has the opportunity to say, as humans with our values, the way we do things already in our world, what are we doing now to move forward, and how can AI help us with that? So that's the premise of what's going on today. So for both Payal and Vinod, is there something in particular that you're thinking about with AI that we could probably pull something up, and I share my screen and we get a chance to look at it or try something out or see what it does or whatever? That's what we try to do. We just have one little 5 minute sort of practical set, and then we go in and see what's going on. Oh, somebody's coming that I don't know. And we'll see if we have a name. Hello, nice to see you.
Oh,
Ah,
sorry, I'm on a bus. I just landed, coming from the airport. So I'm a bit late, and a bit noisy probably too.
Okay, that's right. You're Chris, right?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
Chris.
yes, I remember from
Yeah,
last time.
apologies.
Okay,
Apologies
that's
for
fine.
being late.
Would you like to just briefly say who you are for the folks in the room who haven't met you yet?
Oh, sure. Yeah, if it's not too noisy with the background here. So I'm Chris Drake, based in Hong Kong for many years. And in terms of my values related work, one of the directors and president founder of the Association for Living Values Education International. I also helped co-found and was chair of something called the Asia Pacific Network for Moral Education, and a couple of other values and education related organizations, and took part in a couple of the V20, Values 20 events, which happen under the G20 annual meetings. Good to be with you all.
Nice to have you back, Chris. Excellent. And this is the Asia group then today. This is very, very nice. Lots of people with connections to Asia. So I'll go back to the question I just asked before Chris came in. Is there something in particular that you're curious about, that you'd like to see, that you'd like to ask a question about, that I could maybe do a little demonstration if it's something I can show you? Anybody have any ideas of things they'd like to look at together?
I use AI in certain ways in my coaching work, but I would be interested in knowing, Rhonda, as to
Vinod, you are breaking up and I think you're frozen. Can you turn off your camera for a moment?
new have you learned from the past?
So it's not just me.
And your interactions. Something.
Can you speak again, Vinod? We weren't hearing you well because you seem to have bad bandwidth.
It's disappeared completely. Huh?
Yeah, maybe he's going to check something.
I think
Vinod,
yeah,
can you still hear us?
looking under the bonnet.
Yeah. Well, Chris, if you have an idea of something you would like us to look at, or Payal, while we're waiting for, oh, he's coming back. Now I can see his shadow. There you are.
Sorry, my internet connection is a little shaky.
Yeah. If it
I'm
happens
switching
again,
over to
just turn
another.
off your video because we can't hear what you're saying very well at the moment.
It sounds better now, Vinod.
Yeah.
It sounds it's clear. You've kicked it accurately,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, I said I'm switching over to an alternate internet connection, so hopefully that should be better. Just give me a sec.
Okay.
Meanwhile, please continue, Rhonda.
No, just tell us what you thought you would like to be looking at. You said you're using some things with AI already in your coaching, but is there something you'd like us to look at together?
Yeah, I thought it would be good for you to share as to what new have you learned through your meeting last year,
Mhm.
and also something that is of common interest to all of us on the call.
Okay, so what's your interest? Give us an interest. I can tell you there were 80 exhibitors last year. We can't do that many in half an hour.
No. So my interest would be as to what are the new ways in which coaches are using AI.
Okay, and are you thinking about this in the actual interaction of the session itself, or are you thinking about the things that you're using as a coach in your business to be doing things in your business?
Both, I would say, but you know, it may not be possible to have a very long discussion, considering that this is a short call.
Yeah.
But whatever, like I use AI in certain ways in my prep work, in my post coaching sessions work, you know, exploration as well, you know, planning programs,
Mhm.
or just using AI as a sounding board as well, you know, at
Mhm.
times.
Okay, good. I have something in the back of my mind. Payal, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think I also use AI as a sounding board for feedbacks right now. So I'm applying for a master's. So I'm like, be as critical, tell me where I can improve, you know? So that's really helpful for me right now.
Chris,
Yeah.
do you have anything you'd like to add? Oh, can you go off mute? There we go. Yeah.
Yep, not at the moment, I think. Thank you.
Okay. Then let me share something. We've looked at this in another session, but it keeps improving itself all the time as well. So let me share my screen. And let's look at this nice tool called Notebook LM. Is anybody familiar? I know Charles is because he and I've done this here before, but is anybody else familiar with Notebook LM?
No.
No.
Notebook LM is a Google thing. So if you have a Google account, it automatically knows who you are, et cetera, if you're into that. And the interesting thing that it does is it gives you opportunities to put things together that you would like to look at with what you're doing. So these are things that are already in as part of the system. So when you sign on, you get something like this. But you can then go in and make your own notebooks. And what a notebook does is it gives you, this is one of my notebooks, for example, with Elijah, if he ever gets back. So this is a notebook that Elijah and I use because Elijah helps me with my strategy. And the nice thing about this is you add the sources that you want to put in there. So it is not looking from the entire internet, or it's not trying to do all kinds of things. It is looking at the things you give it. So you can put in things like PDFs. You can also put in things like websites. And it doesn't only have to be your own. So we put in something about Blue Ocean. So that's the website from Blue Ocean. And once you put these in, you can choose also which ones you would like it to be referring to. And then you go into the chat part. And you can then add a question, just as you know that with other LLMs you're probably using. So I'm just asking a question. It has never heard this before. It doesn't know anything. This is live. Yeah, we will see what happens. There isn't a lot of stuff about AI in that material that's in there. This is an older thing. So it'll be really interesting to see what it comes up with. So you put in the question, and you notice it says it has 16 sources to work from, those that I have uploaded. And so you put in the question, and it starts thinking. And it is pulling from various sources. So you see the number of the source where it is getting things from. So it is summarizing things. When you click Save to Note, it makes a new note. So each of these is a note that I could go back and refer to in this section. The other interesting thing is this will now, and you may have heard one of these without knowing what it is, it will make a conversation about what it just wrote between two people. So we need to give it a moment to do this. It will also make a study guide, a briefing document, a timeline, or an FAQ. So what I was thinking when you mentioned that, and you know, that what would help you with things with coaching, that also possibly for your coachees, there would be things in here. But the interesting thing that happens with this is that there are then two voices, a male voice and a female voice, and they talk about, in podcast format, what it just figured out.
Wow.
Okay. So I hope this doesn't take too long. It always depends on how much else is going on in the system. But what happens then is it will then start talking about what it just wrote about. And there will be these two voices, which are fairly generic and are fairly easy for everyone to understand. So not a problem with accents and dialects and things like that. And I hope it does this more quickly. If you have questions in the meantime, please ask.
So can I ask a question while we're
Yes,
waiting?
please. Yes.
So I'm right in thinking that can you ask it to take information from the broader internet or digital sources generally, or does it?
No, this is built because, I mean, if you wanted to do that, you go into Gemini.
No, I understand that, but
that's the Google thing.
Having fed it with all the information you want it to feed on, can you then sort of broaden the sphere of information to bring in outside sources, or you can feed them, presumably you can feed in more information.
You can feed in more information. The only thing I've ever done with this is I've said to it, based on what you have, so these 16 sources, and then I've said, and if you have any additional ideas, please add them.
Okay.
And then it will do that. But it won't do what Perplexity does, which tells you which sources it comes from. All right. So you won't get that out of it. But the nice thing is, as a lot of people who worked with various AI tools say, this is really bizarre, I don't know where it's coming from, or this isn't the way I talk about it, it doesn't use my terminology, my vocabulary, whatever. If you use Notebook LM, it is using what you say because it's all it has to go on.
Yeah.
And it's drawing from that, and it sounds like you more so than a lot of the other large LLMs, because they often sound like whatever, you know, an AI in ChatGPT or whatever sounds like. I mean, now you can upgrade lots of bots to make sure that you say they should be humorous, they should be this, they should be that. Okay, that happens as well now. And it's getting better all the time. It's so much better than it was originally. But the nice thing about this is because you decide exactly what's in it. And as I said, you have all these different options. I mean, you can go in and tell it you want a table or you want something totally different. It will do that as well. But these are pre-programmed, so you don't even have to think about it. You just go and click on the button and it does it automatically, which is really great. And today it's extremely slow. There must be lots of people on Notebook. Today, of course, when we're trying to get this done so that we can all look. I'm going to keep this open, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see all of you because you're much nicer to look at than this little ball running around. And we can continue talking until the machine has some kind of a result for us, and then I will set that up again so you can watch. But
I think it's a good topic, actually, Rhonda. If I could just ask,
yeah.
And this is what you use, because I haven't used it. You've talked about
Yes, I
it.
use this. Yeah.
I've got it on my pad to sort of explore, but I haven't done so yet. So you use it for also. Just tell me a little bit more about what you use it for, because you're using it for discussions with the ledger.
Yeah.
I can see it can be used for various projects and so on. Where do you find it of particular benefit?
Well, the thing that Vino just mentioned that's in there as well, but of course I couldn't show to you, was it said something about Simon. Simon is a coachee, and he was trying to apply for a job at a new company, and he was given lots of sources about these are the kinds of questions that this company always asks. And he sent me a list of these questions plus his answers. And then we looked at websites that talk about this as well. And we fed that all into a notebook and we optimized his answers.
Wonderful.
For example, so looking to a coaching thing. I'm not going to share my screen and we'll only listen to a little of this. This has come up with 21 minutes of conversation. All right. I hope you can hear this. Tell me if you hear.
All right. So get this. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty cool. What makes communication really, really work? Like not just like passing on info, but actually making people understand and, like get going and do stuff.
Yeah. A lot of us think we're pretty good at communicating, but have you ever felt like, you're just throwing words out there and just hoping that they stick?
Oh yeah, all the time. It's like, is anybody out there actually getting it? And that's kind of where our deep dive today comes in. We've got a whole stack of materials here from Rhonda L. Bowen. She's like a global communication, guru. She's been helping people connect for over 30 years, from individuals to like huge organizations spanning over 70 countries.
Her passion, her real passion.
You get the idea, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary also.
A lot of people say that to me.
They sound real.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, if you hear those voices anywhere, then now it's a Notebook LM podcast, and there are a lot of those online at the moment. I would never use this to publish this online. What I personally use it for in my own business is how do other people talk about me as a business owner? Yeah. And if you feed it all those nice things that are from your own personal, arsenal of portfolio, whatever you have, how does it pick that up and how does that rearrange it and how does that put it into vernacular that it thinks the wide world would want to listen to? And that's what I find fascinating about it. So I've never published anything from there, but I listen to it just to see how it's talking about me. And that's very insightful sometimes. So that would be something that would maybe help all of us as well.
Yeah, very interesting.
And as I said, optimizing things for a client, that you let the client do whatever he or she is doing, and then you add and you put in extra sources and ask for optimization. That's a wonderful thing, maybe for you with your coachees as well.
Yes.
If they're looking for something. And because you have everything then in one notebook, this notebook says Simon, and every time if Simon he's not applying for the job anymore, but if he were coming back and doing something else and we have all that information about him in there already, then we could use that for something else on top of that as well.
So I can see it's very useful for your business with individual clients and conversations that you're going to be having, or colleague conversations that you're having over a period of time. just condensing, collating it all, putting it all together, adding information as it comes in. Presumably, can you add what you're recording now?
Yes.
You can add stuff from Fathom, video,
Yes.
notes, all the rest of it.
There is even a way, which I have never done, because as I said, I would never be publishing this, that you can add your own voice. You can go in and actually talk with them.
Yeah.
That's possible as well. I've never done it, but I've seen people do it online. As I said, I'm not using it for that, but you can actually go in and comment on what people are saying about you. You know, join the conversation, quote unquote, if you'd like. The other thing that's fascinating about this is if you're in the Google world, which I'm normally not, but Elijah is, my team is, one of the reasons we use this in Google is I can share this with anybody that's in Google that I normally would share things with, like any other kind of Google Docs and whatever. We can share that, which is why Elijah and I use this to work on things together.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I can see lots of applications really for, well, probably the work all of us do,
Yes.
You know, projects, initiatives of various kinds, just as you're trying to work things out, work it through. It's a combination of things people send you, things you send other people, chats you have over Zoom maybe or wherever, you know, and maybe some websites, because it can absorb information from websites.
Yeah.
What, scrape the whole website or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it looks depending on what you're asking for, but then it always gives the little circle with, you know, where it's referencing it. The other thing I did with it the other day is I went in, somebody asked me some questions, and at something I'm not an expert on at all. She's helping me, not I'm helping her. And I said, oh, what am I doing with this? And I answered the questions myself. Then I put them through 5 models and just said, add to my answers. And then I took all 5 of those plus mine and I put it in here and I said, give me a summary. So that worked really well too. Vinod, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Rhonda, how secure do you find it in terms of storing client information on it?
Well, this is Google, you know, so I mean, if you're anytime you're using an open thing, and if you haven't set up your own, I mean, if you go into ChatGPT, you can set up your own chatbot, and supposedly, you know, I mean, you know, you take that with a grain of salt of whatever it is. This is Google. I would never put anything in there that I wouldn't want anybody else to know about, but because all the sources that I put in here for this one, for example, those things are all in the public realm. So those are all things that people know about me anyway, or there are other websites that people have access to. When we did the things for Simon, we didn't have anything in there that was specific about his person. So it says Simon, but there's no place where it says Simon's last name, where Simon lives, any of those things. So there are lots of Simons in the world. And when he was writing his answers about, I worked in a company once and we talked about this and we talked about that, there were no names of companies or anything. So it was, let's say, generic enough that if it got out into the world wherever, you know, who knows, then nobody could pinpoint him and say which Simon it was. And that's just the thing I do in general with AIs. I try very hard to make sure it's not getting at anything that is, let's say, terribly personal. I live in Germany, the home of data privacy, you know, so I have to be very careful with things anyway. Yeah.
And do you think if you, just a question that comes up as a result of that observation, not about Germany, about privacy, is it possible to ask the notebook to delete references if there's conversation where somebody is, let's say it's a Zoom conversation and somebody is mentioning something personal in the course of that, is it possible to ask it to?
I don't know. I will have to find out about that. Okay.
Because I think that, and that's not just a question that applies to this particular tool, but it could apply to different tools, couldn't it?
I'll have to check on that and see. I don't have a good answer to that question. That's wonderful. We'll see.
Would you trust it to? Would you trust it to? But let's assume you can trust it, and could you delete stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go through all this vast amounts of data to eliminate Simon's family name and
right. Mm-hmm.
and telephone number or whatever it is you wanted to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
or more personal details, obviously.
Mhm. Well, wonderful. I'm just respectful of everybody's time. We are at the half hour, or we're over. I have time to stay on if people have more questions. If not, and you have other things to do, we understand that as well. But tomorrow you will be receiving an email that has all of these nice things in it that we discussed today, plus an invitation to our private network, which is on what's called a Mighty Network. It's like Facebook, but it's private. And we'd love to have you come and join us there. It's called Compolium. And Charles and I and a lot of other nice people have gone in there and have done things. In the chat, I have also put, I'm speaking at another little mini AI conference tomorrow. And if you'd like to attend, go ahead and click on that link. There aren't very many of us. It's a very short thing during the late afternoon, evening for you folks in India, at least, and during the day for us here in Europe. But if you'd be interested in that, I'll be doing something similar today, but with a slightly different background because I have no idea who's coming, but we'll find that out when we get there. So that will be tomorrow. But otherwise, you'll be getting this email with me with all the references to things that we were talking about today, and to give you another opportunity then to join the group, because since we only meet once a month here live inside the group in person, you can go in and talk to other people. And inside this group, we also have a place where you can sign up as a member and put in not only your name or things about you, but you can also put in things like, I'm interested in this kind of a solution for AI, or I work with this AI tool and I could help people with it, or whatever. So there's a member section, and then there's what we call the materials section. So everything we talk about here, like today, we'll be putting in Notebook LM as a reference so people can see what we've talked about. We also upload articles we find online, things on LinkedIn, videos, whatever. So there are all the resources in there as well. And it's a database so you can go in and sort for things that you're interested in. And these are all inside this network. And as I said, tomorrow you'll get the thing so you can actually join. The name of the group is just like here, Values plus AI equals Impact. And then you can see all of the recordings from all the sessions we've had, plus all the things that have gone in the interim. And have a chance to continue the discussion with people before we meet again in April, on the second Wednesday in April, which is when we'll be meeting here the next time. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, you're back, Chris. Very good. Now we can see you again. That's great. Anything we can do for you today? Oh, you're on mute. Can you unmute? Yes, very good.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I'm still on the bus, but I'm going to be arriving at my destination in a couple of minutes.
Well, then
In case I suddenly disappear, it's because I've got to near where I live.
Well,
But before, so let me not forget to say thank you very much.
Well, we're so glad you could join us, even though you're in transit, so to speak, but that's fine. Hope to see you next time. Maybe you'll be able to sit in one place and it'll be easier for you if you can join us in April. That'll be great, but really great for you to have joined us here as well. I love it now when people say, yes, I'm sitting in the airplane and joining sessions. Think about that 2 years ago, we would all said that's crazy. How can you sit in an airplane and be in this kind of a meeting? But now it exists. So it's really great. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyone else have any closing ideas that they'd like to share?
Rhonda, one question.
Yes.
This link that you've shared, it takes us to a page wherein, under your space, it says access sessions page. So does that take us directly to the link?
I don't know, because I have a link from the lady who's organizing it. Can you try it and see what happens? I haven't tried that because I have the link where I'm supposed to join. And sometimes they're different for participants than they are for panelists. I'm not sure. What does it tell you when
It takes us
you
to
do
the
that?
sessions page and it doesn't give a link.
It doesn't.
Well, you click
Same
on
challenge which I faced today. I had everything. I had the tickets as well, but no link. So,
Oh, Charles, there was no link in the Eventbrite ticket for Vinod.
Oh, okay.
Charles's organization takes care of the Eventbrite.
okay.
Yeah,
But Vinod, if you go in again to the page on my website that you got, at the bottom there's an add event calendar. You can also get in through there. if something doesn't work with Eventbrite for the future.
I will
On
take your
this page, because this page is eventraptor.com.
Yeah, no, that's the one for tomorrow. I mean for our sessions. If you want to
Yeah,
come to
okay.
one of our
Okay.
sessions, it's also on my
Alright.
page as well. Payal, are you leaving us?
I will leave right
Okay,
now.
thank you so
for the
much.
invitation.
All right.
Bye bye, Charles.
I'll see
Bye.
you-
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Safe journey.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Vinod, stay
Bye,
on for a
everyone.
minute.
Yes,
Vinod,
I
stay
will.
on for a moment. I'll show you what I meant with where you can find it, even if it doesn't show up on let me share my screen. This is the page on my website that you get in the emails as well. And if you scroll all the way down where you came in with Eventbrite here, you also, when you go here, this is where we are now. So if you sign in on Eventbrite, we get your name and everything ahead of time. If for whatever reason that doesn't work, you always come in here and this is the link that you need as well.
Yeah,
So-
I was looking up. You did the email you got. I was just checking it because I put myself on the list and get the same email. The one that came in to me had the link in it, Vinod. So I'm not
Oh.
quite. I'll have a further look, see what happened, but it all seems to be working.
All right. Sorry about that, Vinod. But as I said, for every month
problem.
when you come in,
Hmm.
if you just go to the next month, then you can always see.
Yeah.
And it shows in your time zone. And you can then just click on it, and whichever one you click on, it's always the same link. It's my link, which you've had forever anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if for some reason it doesn't come through with Eventbrite, you can always go back here and find it as well. Yeah. It's backup, you know, it's like everything in life. We always need a backup. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, because Charles's organization has the Eventbrite, so I just get the nice list that Charles sends me, but I don't have access to that. So good that you can know about this. Yeah.
Dealing with Eventbrite because it can be a bit complex, but
Yeah.
no, it seemed to be working okay. So I'll investigate and see what's happening.
All right. And I'm just going on to the link that I gave you, and I'm looking to see what happens. All right.
I connected through your link, Rhonda, the
Yeah.
one that you gave me.
Yeah. I'm just looking to see. Yeah, and I'm not seeing it on here either. This is very strange, but this is the first time I have worked with this system. I will write to this lady and see if she gets back to me, Vinod, and if she does, then I will forward whatever she sends. Okay. All right, to let you know. Because as I said, this was what I received from her to be giving out to other people. I don't have any more than that at the moment. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, wonderful. Well, anything else we can do for each other at this moment, gentlemen?
No, it all looks good, Rhonda. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
For the session. It's always turns out different, doesn't it? And
Yes.
always new things
Wonderful.
come up. It's very interesting the way
Yeah.
it all evolves.
And as I said, Vinod, once you're inside Compolium, you can see all the videos from all the sessions that you've missed so far. So you can go back and watch any of them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
good.
Rhonda.
All right.
Thanks.
Wonderful. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Vinod. Good to see you.
Likewise, Charles.